Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. It's Tuesday night. It's Gav. It's Phil. It's meant to be the Monday show, but it's not. It's the Tuesday show because
Tuesday
we
show.
were wrecked last night. We were like, I just
Because
leave
it's
it to
summer.
tomorrow. Yeah, we were wrecked, and we were like, we'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. But turns out it's grand because the fixtures came out this morning, so we can talk about them. So just to be clear to everybody, there's going to be a mix of football. There's going to be a mix of. There's a bit of cycling in there. There's some golf in there. There's the Euros, there's the fixtures, and I have a great question for Phil towards the end that was sent to us by Ashley, and it ties in footballers and endurance sports. So
Great.
you'll like that, Phil. You'll really like that. Anyway,
Great.
how are you?
I'd say there's probably 11 people watching tonight.
Less than that.
Less.
They fucking hate when me and you go on a podcast together. Like they literally go, why aren't we breaking down the fucking XG stats of Liverpool's 5 forwards from last year? Like, why can't you be doing that on a Tuesday night? And it gets outrageous. But I have to do it when me and you come on. I have to tell them the mix of what they're about to get, because then they can just turn off.
Easy.
Then they can just turn off.
No, it's easy.
You know,
do you want me to break down the XG stats?
No, because XG is the worst stat of all time. I've told many people this.
Lewis Diaz had 1.4.
No. I'm not getting into XG because I've had many arguments about XG. XG is by far and away the most flawed football fucking stat of all time.
I have some interesting news.
Go on.
I will get into it in a minute.
I'm not telling you. Right. Okay, so where are we going to start? Do you know what I want to start with? Let me start with your Tour de France, because I know you're really excited about the Tour de France. You mentioned the Tour de France to me before we come on, and I went, oh fuck, this has started and I haven't seen a thing. But I'm not obliged to watch any cycling. When does it start, Phil? How many of them are on drugs? How many of them are not on drugs? What's the story? Is it still a race? Like, I thought they would have just knocked off Tour de France in the head after all the scandal.
No. Actually, it's the first one, I think, in a long time that doesn't finish in Paris.
Oh, right, okay. Is it in Ireland at all?
And no, it starts this year in Italy.
Okay, right.
In Florence. I was going to say Fiorentina. In Florence.
Fiorentina, yeah. Batistuta is there with the
Batistuta.
Go!
And Batistuta and your man that looked like Salah but wasn't Salah, that your woman was saying that we should sign him instead. Do you remember her? Do you remember when we signed Salah? There was your man who played in the wing, and he looked a bit like Salah because he had the sort of long curly hair. And then she was like saying, "Yeah, you should have said these because he's just
Quadrado."
That's it. Yeah, Quadrado.
No, what she said was he's just a fucking bargain basement Quadrado or something. Your woman, I can't remember her name. Someone in the chat will tell us who it was.
So they're starting there, and they're going up the mountains for basically the first 5 days, which is unheard of. And they're going mad in the mountains to see how many of them just go disappearing, right?
Okay.
And yeah, I love it. The Tour Unchained is back on the Netflix. And
is that a bit like the Formula 1 ones they've done and the golf ones they've done, like where it's kind of inside track on it?
Yeah. It's a bit like a cross between the Formula 1 and the golf ones, right? Yeah. So if you're not into the cycling, like you aren't, right?
No.
It's a good in for you, right? So you can sit there and you'll actually enjoy it because it's telling the stories of the lads behind the helmets
without having to watch them just cycling along roads all day.
Yeah, but then you're getting to see all the crashes. Like, let's be honest about it, right? There's like
when the crashes are immense.
And when they show the crashes in this, like the backdrop to last year's tour was that Gino Mader, who rides for Bahrain Victorious, he was killed in the Tour de Suisse, which is just finished last week. And he was killed on a descent on one of the, I think it was stage 5, coming down the side of a mountain, and he came off the bike, went over the side of the road, down a ravine, and they found him face down. Sadly, he was face down in a river when they picked him out. Yeah. And like they were doing about 85, 87 on the descent as they went down. So like it's when what you don't see on the television when you're watching this is you just see the lads going along, and when they crash it looks terrible and whatever, right? But when they actually get the cameras down at their level, so like when when they go down to pitch side level, when they go down to race side level, and you see the real speed when they're hitting the deck and the destruction it has, because Lycra has never had great sort of preventative properties.
Like, you'd be better off going in with like American football gear and you just protect it. That might be an idea, actually. Lightweight American football gear.
But see, you can't, because it's the weight thing. Weight to power is the whole thing.
And then you have the aerodynamics of it all, don't you?
Yeah. So what you're looking for?
Big set of shoulder pads aren't doing well in the wind tunnel testing centre.
So last year, the golden ticket is 7 watts per kilo because that's what Jonas Vingegaard was doing. Right, that's the man who won it, right? And Tadej Pogacar could only throw out 6.75, but he was coming off the back end of an injury and hadn't been training. And the roles are reversed this year. Vingegaard's been broken, and Pogacar has gone into it. He's after winning the Tour of Italy, and he's heading in to win the Tour de France as well, which is the Giro d'Italia course.
There's any Irish lads in it? Remember a couple of years ago, there was an Irish lad in it.
There's a few. I'm not
Who
sure.
Was the Irish lad a few years ago that won like a stage in it?
Sam Bennett.
Was that him?
Yeah.
I remember him. I remember everyone was into the cycling there.
Or Dan Martin.
Was it Dan Martin? I don't know. They were all into the cycling for a week and a half.
Yeah.
Because a fella won a stage or a time
Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett's going into it. Is in it this year with Bora Hansgrohe, which is now the Red Bull team. It's Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, right? So he's got a good chance. They've got a fella who's going for it in Primoz Roglic, and they've got a good chance with him to win a couple of the sprint stages, right? So it's I can't wait. And to be honest with you, it's one of those things that you can put on the background. It takes them 4 hours to cover 150 kilometers, 160 kilometers, 200 kilometers, whatever it is, right? And it's great. It's just full of intrigue and drama, and I'll get on the Netflix series. It's great. You get the intrigue and drama.
I should sit down and just watch a stage. Should I? Should I just sit down and watch a stage one day?
It's like one of those where, you know, when you're watching the golf at the start of a tournament, right?
Yeah.
Nothing much happens, but the commentary is so good. They'll tell you when something or when to expect fireworks, right? So you might get, say, the best stages to watch will be the big Alpine stages, probably towards the back end of the second week and into the third week. If it's a close race, this is the time to watch it, because at some point the big lads attack each other.
Right. With sticks.
And rocks, and they try to put it in the spokes to try flip you over the handlebars, and do a bit of joust. No, it is. It's what you want to have, right? So it's it is. It's definitely it's my happy place. It's the summertime. Normally it's sunny, but unfortunately this year there's no sun in the summer. It should be just called the winter.
So cold today.
Down to 2 degrees tonight.
So cold today.
Down to 2 degrees.
You know me, I love a pair of shorts and a t-shirt. I go around in shorts all year if I could, but today I had to throw on the old jumper.
Long sleeve t-shirt on today.
I only measure the weather when I stand outside the front door with a smoke, and I kind of go, I could stand here having a smoke in this t-shirt. And then when I come back in, and you know what's happening now? The family are literally waiting for me to give them the news. You know, what's it like out?
It's cold.
And I go, oh yeah, it's grand. And then they look at me going, t-shirt, right, sound. And the only thing is, my kids are grand with that. My wife's such a cold person that, if I tell her it's 20 degrees out, it's gorgeous, you'd be sweating, she still goes out with a jacket. Okay, there's just.
Well, I'm apologising now to Wendy, because it's my fault, right?
Is it?
Yeah, because I refuse to stop cycling, and that's basically since I started seriously cycling since last September, it hasn't stopped raining and being cold.
Yeah, no, it was really, really cold today. Anyway, you mentioned the golf there.
I did. Coming off the back, the excitement of the old the Tour de France, the US Open.
He doesn't win it, McIlroy, but he's the best player of the week by a distance from me. When I was watching the golf, you know, and I watch golf every fucking week. I can't wait for Thursday to come and what tournament is on, and even if it's a DP World Tour, and I watched a bit of the live stuff as well. But you know, the golf's on Sky and you get it every week. But I watched this, and what I was really impressed by with, first of all, what a golf course. Pinehurst number 2. They don't fuck about. They make it bleeding. They literally say, hit it straight and you're grand. Go left or right, and we've just sand. It's just wasteland sand, right? Can't ground your club in it. Fuck you. And we're going to make it so difficult. And then what they done was they literally made the greens and they went, we're not watering them for 4 days. Go fuck yourselves. So what happens is, and you don't appreciate on TV that the undulations and the height of some of the greens compared to where the fairway is. So I seen one lad hit a ball that pitched beside the pin, took a bounce beyond the pin and spun back, went just past the hole, and his next shot was a 70-foot putt, right? Because it had gone back down. So they kill the players with regards to, you need to be, right, there's times when they can go left and right, but they're still good enough to get it on the green and hold it. Yep. But it was like, If you go left here, you're in the wasteland. Plus, you have to get it on this green. And they were showing this new kind of stat where it was actually the actual green as opposed to the size of the green itself, the actual area where you have to hit it to keep it on the green. And they were so small compared to the actual size of the green complex. But McIlroy, just talking about him, brilliant all week. Didn't chase, literally went in. I think he shoots 300 in the fourth round and he's so in control of what he's doing. I think he ends up shooting, was it even par? Second round, then he has a decent third round, and remember he's 2 clear. He's on 8 under. He's 2 clear with after 12 holes. He makes a birdie. The Shambo, I think, either saves a par or bogeys, and you're kind of going, this is over, because the team. It wasn't like McIlroy was spraying all over the place and recovering. He was so in control of what he was doing. Right, he makes a bogey, and that can happen on that golf course. But the second one kills him. The second one kills him because, like, if you look at it, he's 2 ahead. The Shambo's on 6 under with 6 to play. The Shambo finishes on 6 under. Doesn't go any further. So McIlroy just needs to go even par or 1 over, and it's the second bogey that kills him, and it's right in his head. You know, McIlroy said he's taking a break, says Paul. He's actually just taking a break from, I think it's the Genesis that's on next week, and then he's off to he'll be back to Scotland, yeah, for the Scottish Open, because he's defending that. He won it last year, and then you're into the Open. And yeah, there's no problem with him taking a break. People had to go at him for leaving the golf course, but listen, he was good. I think if he'd have lost that on the last hole with the Shambo beside him, he wouldn't have left. He wouldn't have walked off. But he was the group ahead. He couldn't believe what was going on. He left. He knew he'd lost it. And you know something? It was just brilliant to watch. Absolutely brilliant. The mix of the players that were up there, because I really like the Shambo. I think he's a bit of a spacer, but I really like him. You look at McIlroy, you know, Cantley was up there. He's boring, but he's a good player. You had Tony Finau that was up there. Your man Aberg, the young lad, who's an exceptional golfer, fell off a little bit. But when you mix that with the course, the conditions, how tough it was, and I think you ended up with a dozen players under par for the whole week. It was brilliant, Phil. It was absolutely brilliant. And you know something? I'm not a huge fan of the US Open because because in 2014, I think it was, they play in a place called Chambers Bay, and it was an horrendous golf course. The greens were horrendous. It was all wasteland, but the greens were horrendous. It wasn't that they were tough; they were just poxy, and it really went off the US Open after that. But what they done at Pinehurst this week was brilliant. What they done with the course, the way they set it up, it was better than the Masters this year, and that says a lot because I love the fucking Masters.
So, as someone who isn't a golf fanatic, I think that's a fair thing to say. It takes something to hook me into it, right? And so the hook for me in this obviously was McIlroy having a great chance to win it, and I'm not bringing any technical insight to what it is until that. I couldn't get over that bases turned into wrestling.
In what way?
Well, the Shambo is like basically just going through different personalities. So last year he was a big thundering arsehole, right? Screaming and shouting and doing all mad things and utterly unlikable. This year he's turned and changed his personality, and everyone loves him. And he's like happy and he's smiling and he's all that type of stuff. So it's very hard. It was very hard to wish against him because he like.
Yeah,
he
but the problem
with
with the Shambo was the Shambo has a big falling out with Brooks Koepka, and at the time Brooks was basically the darling child of US golf because he'd won 3 PGA titles out in 4 years, right? And he was signing this big deal with Shrixon, and he was he was the darling. He was the great hope. You know what I mean? He has a falling out with Bryson DeChambeau, and you have to remember DeChambeau's being accused of being on drugs and everything because what happened was during COVID, DeChambeau went off and went from a tall kind of average guy to a tall fucker that's like absolutely ripped. And he's done all this research. They call him the scientist. He researches every part of the game. All his clubs are the one length, all this sort of thing. And it's not, I don't think that he's changed. I think the people reacting to him have changed. And the live golf stuff didn't help him. But you have to remember, right, when you look at these big tournaments, right, the Americans will show for anybody. once they're American, because at the end of the day, they don't want more
I
McIlroy.
know,
There's big shouts in USA,
I know,
USA.
I know what you're saying, but at the same time, listen, he's gone from being a thundering arsehole to being a really nice, likable person.
Yeah, and Paul says it there. His YouTube channel has been a massive way for him to be an entertainer, and his YouTube channel is brilliant because he's just. There's no kind of look at me, I'm amazing at golf. He just goes out and plays golf with people and has the crack.
But it was what I liked about it, right? What I liked about the watching it was that there was real ebbs and flows around those last few holes, right?
Yeah, but that's the golf course that does that, you see.
But it's not just the golf course. There's also the nerves bit that comes in. So when Rory takes that has that 2-shot lead, right?
Yeah.
DeChambeau, when you look at his shots, they were all over the shot. Like he couldn't. Now I know he wasn't hitting straight for most of the weekend, but
he admitted he knew McIlroy was there and he knew it got to him.
Yeah, but again, he was whacking it all over the shop. But they were still getting up and down fairly all right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like then McIlroy looks like he has it, and then he just that soft put that he misses on, was it the 16th rather than the 18th? That not the 18th. The 18th kills him, right? But the 16th is the one is the real killer. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just there you go. That's when the yips just drop in. And I thought as soon as he missed that easy putt in the 16th, I know this sounds tough at all. I was like, even if this goes to a play, I thought the only way this happens is if he manages to get he needs DeChambeau to drop another shot, and that's the only way he's getting to a playoff. If he gets to a playoff, I would have fancied his chances, because I just think if the two of them are walking together, DeChambeau's definitely much more of an emotional fella, right?
Yeah.
And I think then the pressure really starts to come on. But
that was the really surprising thing about it, because when you watch McIlroy during the week, he's not spraying her all over the place. He's like McIlroy. I still think is the best player on the planet. If everyone's on form, he's the best player. And I know Scheffler's going through a ridiculous amount of things at the moment, but honestly, I back McIlroy against anybody, right? But you see McIlroy can boom it as long as anybody, right? And he was hitting these stinger shots 30 yards off the ground. Boom, keeping them low and running them, because he wanted to keep them straight and low and running, because he didn't want to go too high, because what bounce is he going to get? Where's it going to go? So he was so controlled throughout the week, and it was really good to see, because the thing that kills him at the Masters is he's not controlled. He tries to attack that golf course too much. His wedge play isn't good enough around Augusta for me, but he was really, really good. And listen, these things happen. You know what I mean? It just happens. It's actually not the putt on 18 that kills him. It's the second bogey. And I know the 18th is the one where you kind of go, fucking hell. The second one kills him. Because if he gets through, what's 17? If he gets through 17, 18 is not an issue. 18 is in his head because of 17. But it was a brilliant golf tournament. You know, Tom says there, most fans have spent the last year in America giving out about live golf. And now it's all forgotten about on Sunday. Yeah, but that's not the fault of Live Golf, and it's not the fault of Bryson DeChambeau. It's the fault of the guy at the PGA who sold them all up down the fucking river. His name's gone out of my head. He's the guy that melted out of him for a year and then done a deal with Liv. And Monaghan is his name. And basically hung the likes of McIlroy and Moore out to dry. You know what I mean? Absolutely did. And he still has his little has his little puppets beside him, Tiger Woods included, because they don't want Rory back on the kind of the committee of the PGA Players Committee, because you know, he had the biggest fall of them all, McIlroy, Jordan, all this, and money talks, doesn't it? And he didn't stick up for our principles, and that man sold the PGA out. But that's the way things go.
It is, but like, fair play to them. And your man off the Golf Channel doing the thing, and then DeChambeau turning up and telling him how to hit the shot, and then your man hit it even closer to the pin than DeChambeau. That was great.
I didn't see that. No.
Ah, yeah, I'm despondent you didn't see it. So there's a fella on the Golf Channel, on NBC's Golf Channel, right?
All right.
And he's out in the dark after everything is settled down. It's obviously the production after the production. It's the post thing after the main feed, right? And his name is Johnson Wagner or Johnson Gardner or something like this is the fella's name. And they were saying, okay, talk us through how you think what he's thinking about going up to take the shot. So he's trying to show where the ball is and the way you have to come on it, and how it's a very small patch for it to hit it onto.
Is this after the tournament?
Yeah, this is like literally the lights are still on the clubhouse in the background, right?
Right.
It's gone dark. There's no floodlights, right?
Right.
So there's just the lights of the camera and stuff. So everything's gone off, and he's out there just knocking the ball about and showing you how the shots were taken and the important shots that were going on. So they're all there. Oh, go on, hit the shot. So he sits down and he's showing you how to hit the shot, and he hits it, and the thing goes sailing over the back of the green. And that's what he's saying. Look, that's the danger of this shot. Was either going to be perfect or going to be a disaster, right?
Yeah.
With that, as he turns back the camera, golf cart comes into screen, and the Shambo gets out with the trophy. And he goes, "Oh, Bryson, fantastic!" Gives him a big hug. Yeah, he goes, "So go on, do it again." And he goes, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, talk us through it." And he goes, "Well, you can tell me." He goes, "No, you talk us through it, right?" So the two of them are standing there. And he's going, "Yeah. So what was your thinking?" He says, "Well, I'm looking at it, and I have to do it." And he goes, "Does the clubhouse ever come into play?" He goes, "Absolutely." He says, "I know if we sail this is going miles over the clubhouse. It could even end up in the clubhouse." He goes, "Good." So they're all doing this. So it goes, "Right, so am I opening the club face?" He goes, "You open the club face, going into it, and just believe you're putting it up onto the second part of the ridge." So your man does it, and he literally almost drops the ball from the bunker straight into the hole. It's unbelievable. You have to watch it, right?
No,
and
when it was over, I was...
Come here, hang on. And then what the Shambo says to him says, "You do this, you win the US Open, right?" And he goes, "All right." He says, "Well, that's the pressure." And he goes, "Yeah, everyone's watching at home. So that's just the pressure of everyone watching at home. This is your shot to win the US Open." So he takes it, puts it within a foot, and he's like, "Yeah!" They're all celebrating, going high five. And just Shambo goes, "Well, here you go, you've won the US Open." So he gets to stand there. Your man gets to stand there holding the trophy like this, like he's won the US Open. It's absolutely brilliant. It's definitely
the Shambo's great value. He is great value.
Yeah.
Right, on to some football.
Football.
Sorry about that. 20 minutes of us waffling about cycling and golf, but that's how it goes. So the fixtures are out. Liverpool start the season away.
I'm amazed at some of these fixtures.
Is this why you tell me you've never heard of these teams and stuff like that?
No, it's just like I can't believe that you play everyone twice over the course of the 13 fixtures.
But did you see the stat earlier before we get into Liverpool? West Ham don't leave London until November.
Well, then they should stop having all the London teams in the league.
All their away games are against London teams, and their home games against City, United, whoever. But they're out.
PGMOL won't like that because they're all from Manchester.
Yeah, there'll be loads of travelling. But they're out, right? And Liverpool start away at Ipswich, and the first thing you notice off the bat is they start away at Ipswich, then they're home to Brentford, then they're away to Manchester United. I think that's the first three. They finish up against Palace on the last day of the season at home.
Are you going to talk through all the bleeding fixtures?
No. I'm just saying. People always ask.
Short circuit this?
No, when it comes to fixtures, people always go, "What's the first and what's the last?" And when are we playing United? So then I've told you, right?
I think the run from February to the end of the season is ridiculously hard.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that, but you have to take into context what form are these teams in? What form?
No, I get that.
I mean?
The
first thing you notice is that Liverpool start the season away at 12:30 on a Saturday, away at Ipswich, right?
Yeah.
And people are surprised by this, and another fucking 12:30 kick-off at Liverpool, but it was always going to be that way. They need a 12:30 kick-off. Who we give it to? We give it to a promoted team against who? Liverpool, because they sell more than anybody else. Now, again, I think that'll be on TNT Sports, who have to show...
I told you what the club needs to do.
Well, they've
just refused to play it.
Yeah, so the deal in place is that they have to show everybody once in a 12:30 kickoff, but you can use any team up to 6 times across the season at a 12:30 kickoff. So they're out nice and early with that. Phil, away to a promoted team, a lot of people are like, for fuck's sake, a promoted team away on the fourth day. Like, Phil, they're promoted. They're not like, it's not Barcelona away. You know what I mean? Just talk to me about it. The 12:30 thing. I know you've strong things on it, but you do have to play them all twice to get that.
Just turn around to the league and say not there.
We'll start next week, lads. You take the 3 points. We'll start next week.
We'll be there to play at 3:00. Stick it up your ass, right?
Yeah. But at the end of the season, a lot of people are going on about that as well. The run in, the last.
Even if you look at, even before the last 10, if you just look at the April run through, right, with the exception of Fulham and maybe Leicester, right, you look at that, that's Everton, West Ham, which is always a tricky one, Spurs, Chelsea, Arsenal, Brighton away, then Palace at home.
Yeah.
That's tough. And the one thing I've noticed in the fixture list is there's a lot of doubling up right? So take the start. You've got your Ipswich and Brentford. They look all right. You play United. That's one of the few times we don't play another quote unquote big team immediately afterwards play. So you do 2-2, 2-2. Then you're doing Forest and Bournemouth, right? Wolves, Palace. We need to make hay. Those first set of fixtures there to that Palace game, we need to put as many points on the board as possible, because then you're doing Chelsea, Arsenal. Then you've got Brighton, Villa, right? Then Southampton, City. But then you're doing City, Newcastle, Everton. Like those three are tough games at the best of times, right?
Yeah.
Then you skip over that one. Then you do Spurs. Then you're into Christmas time. So then your run in December is mad. You've got Newcastle, Everton, Tottenham, right? And then United to finish off on the game after New Year's Day. And then there's going to be an FA Cup match thrown in there for a bit of crack somewhere along the line as well.
Yeah, so I think we're due to play United on, is it the 2nd of January?
Yeah, we played them on the 31st of August and the 2nd of January, which is after the 19th international break.
Yeah. And then the FA Cup must be the following week, the 9th. But then again, they probably fuck the FA Cup in the midweek or something now at this stage. Robert Maguire says, the last time Liverpool won the first game was under Houllier and Evans was manager. That's crazy. What? Liverpool have won loads of opening day games.
Yeah, particularly since Klopp was there. Like,
is this away or the last time Liverpool won the first game?
Maybe they're talking about the last time Liverpool won the first game at Ipswich away.
Oh no! I think what he means is the last time a Liverpool manager
won their first
game was under Houllier and Evans was manager. That's crazy. Let me think. Well, yeah, Rodgers was a 3-0 defeat at West Brom.
Yeah.
Who else was after them, boys?
Rafa's
first game. Hodgson's first game was Arsenal
19
Arsenal home. Joe Cole gets sent off, 1-1 draw.
Yeah, 19-0 defeat. Hodgson thought we played well, so it was great.
What was Rafa's first game?
Rafa's first game was against himself and the Americans, and they did a protest, and they had a picture of him.
This will annoy me now, but Benitez's first game.
That season was terrible. That must have been a draw. That was bound to be a draw. Do you know, it was probably a draw to Birmingham City. Steve Bruce.
No, it's not. It's away at Spurs. It's a 1-1 draw away at Spurs.
0-0 with Birmingham and Steve Bruce.
No, it's not. It's a 1-1 draw away at Spurs, and Cisse scores on his debut.
I don't care about facts here. I care about what is in my head.
But anyway, the fixtures are out. And then, did you see this thing about the Afcon now? So the Afcon was due to be in the summer.
Let's come back to this for a second, because these fixtures. So I think, right, that's a really tough season for Slot in the way those fixtures have felt. I actually thought our fixture list last year was a really nice fixture list.
But I'd say if you look back at our fixture list last season, there's plenty of big games.
Well, the Athletic is saying that we have the easiest start to the season, and I disagree with them wholeheartedly.
I don't think Ipswich, Brentford, Manchester United is the easiest start. Just don't. Depends. No. You don't know. But then again, like, you don't know what you're going to get off teams. You know what I mean? Like, Palace were really good towards the back end of the season, but you don't know what you're going to get.
I don't understand their rate. I actually didn't understand the ratings, because they have Brighton and Hove Albion having the 4th easiest start, and Brighton's start is Everton, United, Arsenal. Like, that can't be an easy start.
No.
I know, like, we think those teams are rubbish, but like at the same time, that's not an easy start. For a new manager that's coming in that's never had any experience in the league. Yeah, that's not an easy start.
Yeah, no, it's all over the place, and I've seen loads of people saying, I've seen people giving out about this and giving out. I believe Everton are giving out fuck because their last game of the season isn't at Goodison, because it'll be the last game at Goodison. They're upset by that. Well, we don't know.
Won't be the last game at Goodison.
You never know. Like, yeah, the fucking Asda go down the stadium by the time that comes around, but
they won't even exist as a club by the time that comes around.
They will. The fella from Roma is buying them, apparently.
I genuinely think that our fixture list up until the middle of October is very kind for a new manager coming in taking over.
And then, but you see, that's the thing. Like when if you have and what you think is coin, and I'm going to be honest with you, I looked at the first game and the last game, right? Because I do what I always do. I book flights for the first and last games straight away, right? So I haven't really looked into it in massive detail. I know people are saying about the last 10 are tough and different things like that, but like if you think that's coined up to October, you know, like how many times as Liverpool fans of me and you, right? Either why we know each other or beforehand, have said, how many times we've been out of a fucking title race by November? It's over. So, and the thing is, like, I know the last 10 might look tough, but if you get to October and you're flying and it pushes you through November, December, and all of a sudden you're like, we can take on the fucking world here. You know the sort of way? It's all about who's in form and when, and like what's left to play for certain teams when you're coming off the back.
I just think when you get to the middle of October, that run of fixtures is the converse to what you've just gone through, because with the exception of probably Southampton away, right, which we always make an absolute bags of unless Firmino's playing, right, you do Chelsea, Arsenal, Brighton, Villa, City, Newcastle and Everton. Like that to me is the opposite to what you've just gone through at the start of the season, which is what should be a relatively easy set of fixtures. But like the other thing that sits into this, which is the lottery job, we have no idea what style we're going to play, how we're playing it, whether this fella's going to be able to manage. He hasn't even he's not even been sighting or seeing since he was
exactly. And the thing is, we're all looking at that fixture list with regards to a title race, what's going to look like. But like, is it realistic enough to say, look, we should be looking at it in a different kind of light and say to ourselves, I kind of am as well, but I always go into every season thinking we can win the league, and I won't be different this year. But I will say, you know, I'm also going into it thinking I would never overreact anyway, but I'm kind of going into it going, well, if I kind of lower my expectation a little bit, and that's not to say I don't want to win every game. I'm saying if I go in and I kind of be realistic about a new manager and a new backroom staff and possibly new players and stuff like that, I'm thinking to myself, you know what, there's a mix there where you kind of have to look to consolidate what you have in this fourth season, and that's just life. Do you know what I mean? If you tell me we finished third again this season, or you guarantee me third, I'll say, yeah, do you know what? That's great for what we are and we're looking to build. But yeah, it's all context, isn't it? And who's doing well at what times, and you know, you could end up coming across those last 10 games and you could find 3 or 4 of them teams are in a horrendous fucking run of form, or you know, sacking a manager, or you know, whatever it might be, and you might get them at the right time. And Gary says, I know holidays etc., but do you not think we should have something from Slot at this stage? I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know what they're doing here. I fully expected not to hear from for a little while after the whole Jurgen Klopp and the M&S Arena and the Champions League and all this sort of stuff. I fully expected, but again, he's on holiday. But I would have expected him to have some sort of pre-recorded material to throw at us to keep us kind of over. But at the end of the day, like, he's in from Monday week, I think. Because the rumour is he's bringing them in a week early to pre-season training. There's some players already in the AXA. I think Bajcetic being one of them. And apparently the pre-season training for some, if not all, whoever's available, starts on, I think someone said like the 24th of June, which would be next Monday, wouldn't it? As opposed honestly, to the 4th or 2nd July.
I have to say now, I'm sort of a bit with Gary Bowen. I think it's a bit of a joke, to be honest with you. And not that it matters. It actually doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, right, in real terms. But it's just very bizarre. I think it's very weird. It's such a big club, such a prestigious position. You're coming in after Jurgen.
I was trying to think back to when Moyes got the job at United after Ferguson. Was Moyes paraded around the place like fucking 2 weeks after?
Ferguson brought him in. Ferguson picked him up from the chipper in Blackpool, where Gary, where your man was waiting for Kenny Dalglish to pick him up. What was
Charlie Adam?
Charlie Adam, right? Eating two battered sausages, fresh cod, and a milkshake, right? And there was Fergie outside waiting for David Moyes, who was just getting his regular now, which was a snack box of a Friday. Picked them up, right? That's it. You're done with everything. Off you come, and they went back and they had a big huge.
But genuinely, I'm trying to think. Like, was Moyes finishes up or everything? Everyone knows he's finishing. Ferguson does that thing on the pitch with, support your new manager and all, and that's probably mid-May. If you go back that long, I think we finished around mid-May now. It's a bit later this time. But I'm trying to think, was Moyes like in doing interviews and stuff as United manager like in the start of June? And I'm not excusing. I think it is a bit mad. I would have fully expected like the Monday after the Champions League for a 20-minute interview to come out to welcome him, and fucking pictures of him in the ground or pictures of him going into the accident. But something. Then again, yeah, just something. Even, do you know what? Actually, just an interview, because to be no one in the fucking accident, we all gone on holiday. Do you know that sort of way? So why is he walking around an empty building? But even to throw an interview out there and go, oh yeah, great. And look, at the end of it, everyone knows I'm off on holiday now, and I'm going to go off on holiday, going to take some time and come back and get right into it. And everyone goes, look, don't be giving out. He said he's gone on bleeding holiday, but like, even though everyone knows he's on holiday and there's pictures of him on holiday with his family, it's like, why is he on holiday? Like, what could he not have done something? And you know yourself, people go bleeding rasher. But do you know what? It might be an approach that they've agreed with him. Let everything fucking settle right down. There's the Euros, take it, or whatever. But like in the next 10 days, he's in the AXA. That's the truth of the matter.
Well, that's it. Like, it's not. Maybe he just doesn't want it. Maybe he hates the press. Wouldn't it be grand if he just refuses to talk to people and do interviews and stuff like that?
Yeah. And Kev says there, like, for the last month, the LFC content team have been telling you on this day, on this day 3 years ago, we signed Kanate. Wasn't that great? We've done nothing at all since they took the reins. Zero. Like, there's been nothing. Like, it's literally just on this day, happy birthday to this person. And great news, by the way, Alan Hansen seems to be recovering, which is great news.
Do you think they all just went on holidays and there's just one fella left?
Yeah.
You know the way he drew the short straw?
I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you what happened. Mick in the AXA was told to hold the fort for the socials, right? He went on, he scheduled all his tweets and all his Facebook posts and all his stuff, and he forgot to hit the button, right? And he's fucking sitting there thinking, I have this covered, boys, don't be worrying about it. And everyone's going, where the fuck's all the stuff? And he's not answering his phone.
You know what? You're actually right. It is like the whole social media team have just scheduled tweets
and forgot to press
Instagram messages.
Yeah.
No. Actually, just scheduled them and then buggered off. The whole lot of them buggered off on holidays, going, look, there'll be so much we have to do when the season kicks off again, and the whole lot, right? So we're all going on holidays in June. And then there was a part of me that said, were they terrified that this documentary that was being shot that nobody wants to buy off them might be released in June straight after the season?
It hasn't been sold. They've all been laid off, I'd say. They never got to sell the Netflix documentaries. There's no one in the job anymore.
I love how it's called the Netflix documentary, and Netflix won't even buy it.
No, Netflix, it's nothing to do with it. It's Liverpool's documentary. But apparently they were going to try to sell it to Netflix.
Do you think Ian Ayre could be back? I
can't believe Amazon didn't go near it. Because, like, let's be honest, Amazon are trying to force their way into so many Premier League games where they've exclusivity to them across there. I'm amazed Amazon haven't gone near it. But look, fixtures aren't a slot. Within 10 days, you're getting loads of it, because they can't not do it. He's literally fucking starting work in 10 days' time. If you were to believe that he is bringing that pre-season training forward a week.
Do you think maybe they couldn't do anything until they found Ian Ayre and asked him to roll up on the motorbike just for like the end of
fantastic, wouldn't
it? End of sequence shots, and then also for Slot just coming in, just to have that continuation. You see, as Ian Ayre zips off on his motorbike this way,
I'd say what happened was
Slot rolls in.
Ian Ayre's bike failed its NCT, right?
Clogs.
No, Ian Ayre's bike failed its NCT. And he went, bollocks, what are we going to do? Right, lads, hold off. Because I think it would be genius if Ian Ayre, right, where everyone's going on about Slot. And I think the start of the kind of interview with Slot should be a motorbike going through the gates at AXA, 2 people on it, right? It pulls up, there's a wide angle shot of this bike pulling up, right? And then a real close-up of a fella getting off the back of the bike, taking off the helmet. And you know it's Arne Slot, big bald head on him. And he's walking through. And then it just pans out then to this guy on the bike, right? And he just gets to the gates and then he pulls up the visor and it's unmistakably Ian Ayre's eyes. He just gives the thumbs up and drives off.
And it's flies like off.
Dropping off the next piece of
with his suitcase of sandust that he used to bring to negotiations.
Yeah. Conoply anchor jersey hanging off the rear view, bleeding out one of the mirrors.
If we will sign him for this magic box, right?
Yeah.
We can give you 20 million out of magic box. Do you want the magic box? Like, you don't know how much is in the magic box. It could be 40 million. It could be 5 million. It could be a box of sawdust, right? And but Ian I always forgot about to bring this box with him. Sorry, hang on, the box outside.
Jerry reckons that Slot takes out the helmet, just a big mane of hair. He just shakes a big mane of hair.
Actually, that's a fair show.
At Euro 88.
You know the way Jorgi had to go and get his teeth done and his eyes done over the course of his period as Liverpool manager, right?
Do you reckon Slot's getting all done early doors?
It could be a case that he's being told, no, you need to do your stuff before you come here, and he's going to turn up like Conte. Remember Conte was bald, and then he turns up with a full long mane of hair, right?
Yeah.
Perfect teeth,
right?
Yeah, ripped like Daniel Craig, and just comes out and like everyone's
Remember Conte? Like wasn't Conte the one that had the hair around the sides and was really bad on top?
Yeah, look, just missing.
Yeah, and then it was like he came back and they were like, "What you do with your hair?" And he was like, "Nothing." It was a joke, wasn't it?
Spoke in Head and Shoulders.
Yeah, that's where we are. Brian says, golf day in 10 days. Gonna be a great day as usual. Yeah, the golf day is in. Yeah, it is in 10 days. And we are looking forward to it. If you can donate, the link is in the description. Donate to Phil's thing as well, because he's still cycling the bike like a lunatic. If you want to,
I'm actually up at 6 a.m. If somebody wants to go over a cycle with me,
If you want to go over a cycle with Phil, give him a shout. And stop fucking getting onto social media to me going, "Here, Gav, will you send this on to Phil? It's fucking chariot racing." Just get on to Phil. Why? I'm not his fucking secretary, by the way. Anyway, if you want to sponsor one of the holes on the day, or longest drive or nearest the pin, whatever you want to do, email us talkinkop1@gmail.com. We have some slots left. Sadly, I'd love to have them all full, but I don't. They're €100 each, and every penny of that goes towards the two charities. But look, at the end of the day, I think we'll end up raising over 1,000 on the day, which is absolutely fine. It's better than nothing when everyone's going to play golf. I can't tell anyone, if you're listening or watching and you are playing, the course is in ridiculous condition. Like, ridiculous condition. It's so fucking good. That's
because you're not allowed playing it because it's been raining for
months. You're not allowed playing it because I've told people to stay off the fucking course until their day on the 28th. But no, it's ridiculous. The greens are rolling so pure, fast. It's going to be great. So, yeah, there you go. And if you want to go for a point with us, let us know. You can join us for a point as well. Phil, was there anything else we wanted to talk about?
How come Manchester City play Burnley 9 times in their last 10 fixtures?
Apparently, City's running is ridiculous. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, they don't play any team in the top 20 of the league for the whole season.
Have you got their fixtures there?
It's by way of an apology by the Premier League for ever questioning that they were going to be dishonest and potentially do anything ridiculous when it came to financial fair play. They're also allowed to spend as much money as they want on anything ever again.
I did see somebody saying the last 10 is quite soft, but they always are. Like, they always end up with one game in there where you kind of go, oh yeah, but listen, again, it's all about form where.
So this is their run from the 25th of February, right? After they play us on the 22nd of February, they play Spurs. Then after that, Forest, Brighton, Leicester, United, Palace, Everton, Villa, Wolves, Southampton, Bournemouth, Fulham.
Yeah. So they've all the games out, all that massive games, bar 2 out of the way by the end of February.
Yep.
Yeah, mad stuff, isn't it? So anyway, look, it is what it is. They won't be in the league the following season, so don't worry about it.
They will. They're getting extra they're getting extra league titles.
They won't.
Extra league titles.
I'm telling you now, they won't be in it. So
this will never see the light today. There'll be a back room deal done, and they'll be awarded 10 more extra league titles.
They won't. They will. I'm telling you now, they won't. Anyway, what else did we want to talk about before we went? There wasn't. The Euros.
The Euros. There's
Yeah,
the
now me
fact
and
that the
Kev, me and
African
Kev,
Nations Cup. Well, can I just say the African Nations Cup is now going to be going from September until February of
no,
every
it's
season.
not.
It
Do you know
is.
what I was asking? I genuinely asked this question earlier, right? So I thought the Afcon was on this summer.
No.
No, listen to me. I thought it was on this summer, right? And then I
It was on
seen
in the
something.
winter. Do you
I
remember?
think it was might have been Miguel Delaney put up a tweet going, they've moved the African nations, right? And I
From
was like,
January to December.
right? So, no, because when we were talking about this the other week, somebody said to me, sure, the next Afcon is in the summer. Don't be worrying about players you sign, blah, blah, blah. So, what they've done is, right, and it seems to be on every year. It seems to be on every year, this fucking Afcon, like, right? But anyway, it looks like now that they're going to put the Afcon on from mid-December, late December to late January, right? Which, in order not to clash with
Every year.
right, not to clash with the World Cup, which is right, not to clash with the World Cup, right, which is sound, right, because they need to be in the fucking World Cup, right, and not to clash with something else, but it puts everything. But I'm like, lads, what's going on? And I said to Kev, is this not anything? And Kev went, Gav, since COVID, they're all over the shop. They literally feel like they've lost 4 tournaments, which they haven't, but they're just making this every year now. So I genuinely don't know. Is there an Afcon on in the summer, and then there's an Afcon on in December? But it's actually December. It's actually December 25 to January 26.
Yeah, there's no Afcon on in the summer. It's on in December, right? And it's gone from December through to January, and the World Cup has then been played in June of 2026.
Yes, yeah.
So
but the problem is the
FIFA
World
Cup, FIFA
the
have to
World
change
Club
their
Cup,
rules.
The World Club Cup, which is meant to run, I think. Sorry, they didn't want to clash with. They've moved it because they didn't want to clash with the World Club Cup of 2025.
Yeah.
And the World Cup of 2026. So they've thrown it into
the Afcon was meant to be in the summer of 25, right?
Yes.
But had they put it on in the summer of 25, it would have clashed with FIFA's now forced World Club Cup.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So instead of playing it when they intended to do it, they've now said, no, we'll do that in December instead.
Yeah.
Right?
Which then fucks up the whole of the Premier League and all their fixtures and European football fixtures. Well, not
European football less because they stop in the middle of December.
A lot of them do stop, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, then it messes around with that, and they basically went, "Listen, FIFA are running that, and FIFA are running that, so we're just going to slot in here, and we don't give a bollocks about any of this, right?" And it's like, what? Why is it still on? They've only had one. Like, I thought the Afcon was like the Euros, every 4 years.
No.
Is it every 2 years?
Yeah. And then just to make it a bit better for you, UEFA plan to run a European Nations Cup every 2 years. And FIFA are talking about running the World Cup every 2 years.
It's absolutely mad.
We don't get enough games on television as it is these days.
But why are the Afcon holding? Is the Copa America every 2 years?
I thought the Copa was every 4 years.
I thought the Copa was aligned with the Euros.
I thought the Copa was every 4, and then CONCACAF was between the Copa and the World Cup. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but why can't we just turn around and go, listen, lads, the World Cup is on in 2026. If you want to hold a Copa, a fucking Euros, or an African Nations, you hold them all in 2028. Right? Put them all on in 2028. And then, or, you know what to do? If you want to if one of you want to go 2027.
No, it's on. It's starting this Friday.
Yeah, but it aligns with the Euros.
Yeah, the Copa America's on this Friday.
Yeah, so, and then when's the next
Argentina are playing Canada.
I understand all that. What I'm saying is, when's the next Copa America?
4 weeks later.
They're actually going to amalgamate it into the African nations just to see if we can fucking... But it's fucking mad. Like FIFA go and say, there's our World Cup in 2026, and we won in 2028.
2028 is the
next Copa.
Yeah.
So they're aligned with the Euros.
They had one in 2021 was because of COVID.
Same as the Euros.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why are the African nations turning around and going, lads, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to fucking put them right in between your Euros and the next World Cup. Because that's what they're doing. We're playing the Euros in 2024 and they're deciding in 2025 in the middle of the season that they're going to have their tournament.
Mainly because it's great crowd, but they play every 2 years.
Every 2 years, and then they do it in December because it's too hot where we live. Like, It's not. It's not. Just play it in fucking Morocco. We've all been to the Canary Islands, right? It's warm.
To be fair, it's 43 degrees in Morocco at the moment.
Yeah, but look, just air conditioning. Just do the air conditioning thing. Just do the air conditioning thing. And by the way, can I just make a point on the Euros? The Euro should always be in Germany. Like, always. They're the best at it. No, genuinely, they're the best at it. They just fucking, the stadiums, the way it's organised, boom, boom, boom. Germany is the best at it. We don't need any other countries hosting the Euros anymore. Maybe you see when it comes to Ireland.
Just Germany.
Where do you see when it comes to Ireland?
Italy is excellent as well.
Ireland, have Ireland got it? Ireland, I think, having over 2032 or something, or whatever the fuck it's
Ireland are hosting the 2027 Afcon. Because they're taking it
right through the Christmas shopping. There'll be no sales and clearings on the tour on the 1st of January.
And the 2028 Afcon is in Iceland. And they're just taking it around the world. And if you think I'm messing, right, I'm telling you now, this is how close we are to this thing being mad. Because when you have all the lads saying, well, we want to start playing league matches in the countries that want to throw loads of money at us, it's only a matter of time until the European Championships is held in Australia, right? That the World Cup will be held anywhere. The Afcon is being played in
Australia
France.
can't host the World Cup.
No, I'm saying, but it could host the European Championships.
No, but what I'm saying is, do you think Australia could host the World Cup?
Yeah.
In the summer.
Yeah, because it's winter in Australia.
Yeah, but look at the size of Australia.
Yeah.
Right, it's too big a size to be holding the World Cup.
It's the same as going to America.
But it doesn't have. I don't think it has. Has it got the stadiums?
Yeah.
I don't think it does.
It's loads of stadiums.
Yeah, but I don't think it could host them.
But they can.
I fucking can't believe I've done this because we got Kev was told he hated Australia last week, and I just got thinking the other day: is Australia viable to host the World Cup?
Santandy's right. The Afcon, Euros, Copa America, and World Cup will all end up being played in Saudi Arabia all at the same time. Spot on.
Yeah. But the thing is, right? That's the World Cup. All of them in it is the World Cup.
No, not when they're running side by side, because that means that they can get every single team in the world, right, to play in the tournaments. All they want, like, think about it, they've expanded. The European Championships used to be 16 teams. They used to be 18.
Which I think, but the thing is, I agree with that. But the only thing I will say is it's fucking 24 teams at the minute, and I hate this two go through and the 4 best losers or the 4 best third place. It's fucking stupid. Just put 6. Do you know what to do? Put fucking 48 teams into it.
No, right? Don't.
No, do.
Bring it back. No, bring it back. Bring it back. 24 teams is the perfect number to have in a tournament. I'm telling you now.
No,
right?
I'll tell you. No. But 24 is what you have now, right? 24 is what you have.
22 now.
No, there's 24 in this tournament.
Then 16. 16. Bring it back to 16 teams.
No, right? No, I'll tell you. No, let me tell you something, right?
You tell me there.
You need... Put 72 teams into it.
No.
Let me explain to you.
If you put the 72 teams into it, I can't have the Afcon, CONCACAF, Copa America, Asian Cup, is, right, and the World Cup and the European Championships going on at the same time.
Right. So what I'm saying is,
in Saudi Arabia,
would I be right in saying
they were building for 500
not 72.
miles.
72 is wrong. 72 is wrong. 64 teams is what I want. I want 64 teams in the Euros. Right. Okay. So that'd be, what would that be? That'd be, would it be 16 groups of 4? Yeah.
Who knows?
It is 16 groups of 4, right? So that's 64, right? Okay. And then literally then you just go, right, the top 2 go through to the last 32, then the last 16, last 8, last 4.
How about just the top team goes through?
Well, you can't really do that. You have to let a couple of lads into the knockouts.
No, because then the second place teams go into the the European Championships. The tour place teams go into the Afcon, and the 4 place teams go into the Asian Cup or CONCACAF, and then that's the tournaments.
Yeah.
And everyone, it'd be like the All Ireland. Everyone gets another go. You know, when you get beaten, you get to go into the knockout. You get through the back door.
Yeah, Kev was saying Australia will struggle to sell TV rights with the time difference. I don't mind the time difference. I remember watching the World Cup when it was in Japan and South Korea, and we were watching games at 7 in the morning. It was the crack.
Kev comes up with mad things. He's not thinking straight.
No,
at all.
my thing about Australia was what hosting was. It was like, maybe I'm wrong. Is there enough cities in it?
Yeah.
Is there though? Brisbane,
Canberra, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, Darwin.
6 cities.
Up to 6, yeah.
Not enough.
Qatar had only 3 roads.
Yeah, but they were deadly at what they done. They just fucking built them everywhere. What I'm saying is 6 cities hosting a 32 team
Sydney
World
is
Cup.
huge. And hang on, I haven't gone to the smaller cities now, like Newcastle and.
But they have a stadium. But they have stadiums.
Coast. Yeah.
Actually, do you know what? I'm wrong. Australia could hold a World Cup, and I think they should. I think we should be watching 8 in the morning. Like 8 o'clock at night here is about 6. Is about 6 in the morning there, isn't it? So we need 8 o'clock at night there, which is about 10 in the morning.
Adelaide. There's a Grand Prix in Adelaide as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm back in Australia to host the World Cup. I think it'd be the crack.
Yeah, Tasmania. Tasmania has its own city. It's Hobart.
Are they using there as well? Then again, you could get the old New Zealanders in to help.
Tasmania's part of Australia, and you can put the English team in Tasmania.
But yeah. Anyway, have you watched any of the Euros before we go?
I actually did.
I think it's been a brilliant tournament. I think the worst game. I think the worst game so far has been the England game.
I watched England, and they were awful, right? And I'm not even going to go. We can talk about it as the season goes on. But I didn't like Trent in midfield. I think he nullifies so much. It was good points. I think it's madness. But let them get on with it. They Lampard, Gerrard. It's an English thing. It's a beautiful English thing. They're the masters around destruction in every single tournament that goes on.
Who are they playing again?
I don't know. Some random team. They were playing Burnley.
No, who were they playing? And actually, that's a genuine question. I forgot who they were playing. It bored me that much. Like England win 1-0 against
it's always Croatia. No, they were playing. No, it was Romania. It was Algeria.
Was it like
they always play Algeria?
Slovakia?
Could have been one of those.
Slovenia? No.
Algeria?
No.
They always play Algeria.
Austria? Was it Austria they were playing? No.
No.
France played Austria.
Serbia.
I couldn't remember, right? But the thing was, right, England beat Serbia 1-0, right? And that England were on top for most of the game. They get a goal. It's a good header by Bellingham, right? And then the rest of the game was fucking shy. But if you watch Austria against France, right? France win 1-0. It's an unfortunate on goal, but the fucking game was brilliant. There was loads of quality in it. It was end to end. It was, it was fast. It was absolutely brilliant. The England game's the only one that's kind of not annoying me, but I was kind of going, this is fucking shite. Like then Romania beat Ukraine 3-0. That was brilliant. Albania get a mad early goal against Italy, but they come back. That game was a bit dour actually after that. But then even tonight, like Portugal went great tonight, but it was pissing rain. It was fucking end. There was loads of action around the goal.
I've watched it, and it's reaffirmed my belief that international football is an absolute waste of time. Now, there's some entertainment in it, which is fine, right? But the pace and all was so below what you're used to when you watch Champions League and top level football, right?
Yeah.
And there's still so much badness.
Austria and France, the pace to what I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, but it's not going to hold true for what's there.
Not for the whole lot.
It is what it is. The Germans were great in their first game against poor old Scotland, getting absolutely walloped, right?
Yeah. Holland looked all right. They just missed a lot of chances against them.
But the Scotland, actually, that Germany-Scotland game was probably the first one I was thinking we're going. It's a rarity that you have two teams that remind you of what international football was in the late 80s, early 90s, where it essentially was an awful lot of players just from one country against players from another country that play in those countries, right? So, and that's the gap between the Scottish League and the German League. 7 goals.
Bertie says, except for France and Denmark, the kits are awful. Whose one was I looking at the other night? Was it Italy's? And it looked like someone just got like electrical tape and just done
just
green, white, and red electrical tape down that thing. Yeah. The France one was quality, but the only thing I would say is that the board on there. What's that board they have on their fucking crest?
The French cock.
Yeah. The cock on their jersey is too big. The cock's too big. You need to get a smaller cock.
They need a smaller cock on their jerseys.
Yeah. And that's the truth. That's factual. Like, I'm not saying anything wrong there.
So tonight I've heard you telling me the smaller cock on the jersey, and I got a notice telling me that the Ravens are bringing out big purple helmets for this year's NFL season.
Fantastic. Right, couple of questions before we leave. They aren't football. Well, one's kind of football related. The other one isn't. So I'll ask you this one first.
There was something on my mind. Did you ever hear of Star Bike? Look that one up if people want to do it. It's the world's tallest bike.
Star Bike?
Yeah.
No.
7.7 meters tall. They have to get this fella goes around cycling this monstrous bike. It's huge. Anyway, go
on. Right. So I'll ask this one first. Brian says, your favourite chipper order? He's just had a gorgeous snack box with a breast this evening with a bacon burger on the side, 2 cans of Coke to wash it down. Ideal. What's your favourite order if you're going in the chipper? Now, Irish chippers and English chippers are different. Irish is just Italian chippers, fish, chips, burgers, thing. English chippies, as they call them, has Chinese food and everything in them. Anyway, chipper, what are you going for, Phil?
Not a huge fan of chippers. To be fair now, I'm going to be very rudimentary here. And so if I'm going into the chipper, I just want a bag of chips with lots of salt and vinegar. Right, and I think I've actually perfected the trick of getting the salt and vinegar to the bottom of the bag and right the way through it. So, but I'm not telling anyone because it's mine.
Right, I'm trying to find the other question.
And I will say I'm also partial if I'm really, really, really hanging to an old chicken fillet doner kebab.
Chicken fillet doner kebab?
All of it, all the meats into it.
Oh, everything. A mixed kebab.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Jerry says, where the fuck does Phil find this nonsense? Starbike? What the fuck is that?
Starbike, I'm telling you, but don't put a gap between the star and the bike. It's just Starbike.
Okay, Starbike. Check it out. Steve says sausage dinner. Whenever I go into the chipper, regardless of what I buy, right, I find it difficult to come out without a battered sausage that's like has loads of salt and vinegar on it.
Mine was battered mushrooms. That was what was my go-to.
No.
If I was gonna...
No, I can't because garlic. Remember garlic? You know garlic mushrooms. They're like in a batter, aren't they? Garlic mushrooms. And
no, they're not garlic. Sorry, they're not garlic.
No, I'm just saying, are garlic mushrooms in a kind of a batter, aren't they?
Yeah.
But I remember years and years ago, a mate of mine, we were out one night, like a breadcrumb, yeah, and we were out one night and he bleeding hard. He was horsing these battered fucking garlic mushrooms into him. And went back to the fucking house and he went, fucking knackered. I said, go on, jump into my bed and go to sleep. I'd stay on the sofa. And woke up next morning, it was just a pile of them. He's had to getting sick onto the floor. I had to sweep them up with a dustpan and brush.
No.
But battered black pudding, says Kev O'Sullivan. Wow, I'd have a go with that. Bertie says battered burger, battered sausage, chips, loads of salt and vinegar. Cheeseburger, pair of battered sausage and chips.
Battered black pudding. I think that would be now an interesting one.
Yeah, I think it would be.
Yep.
Right, last question. And be quick, here we go. Ashley asks, if Phil had to handpick, right, say three players from the Premier League to join his team of endurance runners and cyclists, who would he pick and why? And you can't pick James Milner.
That was the fourth person I was going to pick.
And she just says you can't pick Milner. So you can have 3 players, past or present, in the Premier League that you would choose to join you in your 4-person endurance runner/cyclist team. Who would he be and why? And you can't have James Milner.
Why didn't you give me this one earlier so I could have thought about it?
Because I like to, it's the element of surprise.
Okay.
Can I think about this as well?
I think you need to think about it too.
All right, okay. Let me think. Endurance.
Somebody said Dirk out there. No. He's like, no. Just
You
because.
wouldn't pick Dirk out?
No. Do you know who I would have?
Well, I was going to say Javier Mascherano.
Did you ever see Mascherano? No, I remember. I remember Mascherano on.
Completely missed the arm of the chair there. You nearly went face first out of the screen. That was amazing.
I remember Mascherano on a bike in Switzerland, and it wasn't a pretty sight at all. So he's definitely not on the list. Right?
Bertie reckons McManaman, Keane, or Irwin.
No, I'm gonna go with one of the ones I definitely have in there. Who I think will be a phenomenal triathlete is or triathlete or whatever he does is Salah. Salah now is the type of fella, that wiry character going up and down the mountains. He'd go all day and a big smile on his face, right? That'd be phenomenal. Tell you who wouldn't be. Markovic wouldn't be any use. His knees don't bend, so it's like he wouldn't be able to get up and down the mountains.
He'd be in bits. Right, so the first player in your team is who did you say that time?
I'm going to stick Mo in. Mo's going
Salah.
in there. Right?
Okay.
Mo Salah, right.
I'm trying to think of someone. So you need someone that's endurance cyclist.
You need someone who can and can also row a boat, right? So there's so you're throwing it. So this isn't swimming,
right? Can we put right? So, and I'm literally going on the rowing boat thing here. Your man that played for Wolves, but now plays for Fulham and oils himself up before he goes on the pitch.
Oh, your man, the winger fella.
Adama Traore. Unbelievable rower. Like, I think one of the best.
The only problem with Traore for me would be, I'd say his on a bike, I don't think he'd be any use.
No,
I'd say he's the one. Do you know what? I'd say he'd cycle with his knees sticking out. Right, he wouldn't be very aero.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's going to kill you because like the longest part of what you're doing is
he's the sort of fella that constantly complains that his chain's coming off the cog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know who would think be surprised? Do you know who I think would be surprisingly good at this?
Kev has it. And N'Golo Kante.
No.
N'Golo's fucking. I'd say he's lethal on a bike, right? Lethal on a bike.
Useless.
Lethal on a bike. Can run all fucking day. And when you get him in the boat, he's definitely the fella sitting at the point of the boat with the big fucking thing on. Row, fucking go. He's like literally pushing us to the death.
Brian O'Sullivan's right. Any Everton player, because they'll be rowing out of the stadium once it sinks. That's fact.
Jordan Henderson says Jerry. Vieira.
No, I actually think, do you know who'll be Joel Matip?
Joel Matip?
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Yeah, he has that look of, because I've seen the lads who are really good at this, right? He has that look of a.
I have the answer.
Go on.
One from the ages here, but Lee Hendry that played for Aston Villa. Like,
Jesus, yeah.
Never stopped running.
Never stopped running.
Wasn't very good at football, but never, ever stopped running. Lee Hendry.
Very skinny.
100% doing the job.
Very skinny.
From Birmingham, he's definitely being out in BMX. Telling you, lethal.
Light, very, very light as well. So he's not going to. He's. I'd actually need. He'd be going for someone who lived up the mountains as well. So, what's your man's name? The Swiss fella. German lads are good at this as well.
The Swiss
Gary
fella?
Bowen saying for Ayrshire. Yeah.
What Swiss fella?
Little Power Cube.
Jacques?
No, we had him. Power Cube, square person.
Philip Degan?
No. Played for us, plays for Chicago Fire now.
Oh, Jordan Shaqiri.
There you go. Shaqiri. I'm putting Shaqiri on. Now, that's a fella who could row your boat for you. He would absolutely, he'd be like a motorboat in the water, right?
Yeah.
That's
so,
me boat.
So
man.
we're going with Jordan Shaqiri, Lee Hendry.
For the boat, Lee Hendry for the all-rounder, right?
Right.
It's really down to
a Mo Salah.
A cyclist now. Yeah, I'm actually going to kick Salah out of the team.
Right, well, he's out. Lee Hendry and Shaqiri. It's going to be great. Yeah. So hold on. So Lee Hendry are going for the running.
I'm going for the running here.
So
He to me now is your classic mountain trail runner.
And
Very
in the
light.
bow is Jared and Shaqiri.
He's basically an engine.
So you need someone that's decent on a bike.
Yeah.
Right.
The bike is not easy because you have to be ultra skinny and ultra light, right? And fairly aero. And
Carlton Palmer.
He's not aero though. He'd be too lanky.
He's too tall, yeah.
It's going back to the Joe Matip thing, and his knees would be sticking out left, right, and centre the whole lot. Like that's what he ran like. Do you know what I mean?
Ferdy says something there. Do you remember Brian Kerr called Jared and Shaqiri a little barrel? Fantastic. So we need someone that's skinny, fit as fuck, skinny, and aerodynamic. Not too tall.
Not too tall. Ideally from Belgium.
Oh. Dries Mertens could have been there, but he's never played in England.
No, and he's also Dries Mertens could have been there. I was trying to think like a speedsters from Belgium, because like I'll
tell you who'd be good at it.
Yeah,
a man that was at Spurs. He was with PSV or Ajax, went to Spurs, then went back to either PSV or Ajax. The winger,
Tadic.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, the winger, lightning fast. Not Doku.
Mignolet.
Doku's no. This someone will tell me now in a minute. He was with I think he might have been with PSV. Went to Spurs.
Brian O'Sullivan said Hazard there, but see, he doesn't have the build. He was too
Bergwijn. He's your man.
He's definitely in there.
Skinny,
for consideration.
Not too tall, speedster.
Yeah. Not very good at football.
But he's cycling. Who gives a bollocks?
Exactly, and the reason why I say that is because one of the fellas who's going in with a chance of winning the old Tour de France, Remco Evenepoel, used to be an international footballer.
Yeah, if there was one player that
played
from
in Holland,
the Premier League era that if he said, "Listen, he's on your team," because if he's not on your team. So hold on, we've gone with Lee Hendry, Jared Shaqiri, and Stephen Bergwijn, right?
Oh, I know no, Bergwijn's out. I know the fella I'm getting, right?
Who?
Do you remember your man who played for Ajax? And he was the midfielder, and he came and he went to Chelsea. It was only quite recently, but I think he's from Algeria, so he's used to living up the mountains. He was the midfielder fella.
He's a winger.
He isn't. He played sort of centrally. They tried to get rid of him.
They tried to get rid of him, and he went off to Saudi then, didn't he? Oh Jesus, what's his name?
And he looks like a cyclist, because I was thinking of the other fella we signed, right? That played for us when Brendan Rodgers was there.
What was his name?
Do you remember?
For the alphabet here now.
Ziyech.
Yeah. Right. So Ziyech
is the cyclist.
Ziyech on the bike.
Yeah.
Jared Shaqiri in the bow, and Lee Hendry running.
Lee Hendry across the mountains.
Right. But if you had to pick one player, right? Because I have a player in my head. If you had to pick one player that like say you needed sponsorship, right?
Yeah.
And you need sponsorship, and if you don't get the sponsorship,
Asayidi. That's where I went. That's what brought me back to that.
Yeah.
Remember him? Really?
Yeah, he was deadly. So say for him, say your team needs sponsorship to get into this race, and you haven't got the money. But this player's dad said he'll put the money up, but he has to be on the team, right? But this player is the last player you'd want on your team, but his dad's putting up the money, so he has to be on the team. Who would you be? Who would it be?
His dad's putting up the money, but
yeah. So basically, right, to get into the race, you need to put in the money to pay to get into the race. Right. But you don't have the money. You and fucking Jaden and Lee Hendry all the boys don't have a bleeding washer between you, right? But you have to put this other player on your team because his dad's paying for the sponsorship. But he's the last player you'd want on the team. Who would it be? Last footballer you'd want. Last Premier League player you'd ever want on your team for this. But you have to have him because his dad's paying the sponsorship to get you in the race. Who would it be?
For me, it's either Phil Jones or Harry Kane. That's it.
Do you know who it would be for me?
Come on.
Yeah, man, Mido. Remember Mido? Didn't give a bollocks. That's who I'd have. Remember Milo used to go out and they used to have an international break and Milo just come back 3 stone overweight.
Yeah.
I'm bleeding deadly at football. He was fucking great. I used to love Milo.
Jesus, I never thought of Ibrahimovic. He would have been a great fellow for the mountain running.
He'd wreck your fucking head though.
He'd be deadly at it though.
I know, but you need to have the lads with a bit of crack as well. Ibrahimovic would be like, I'm fucking cycling this hill and this prick's telling me he's the best thing on the planet. Fuck off and annoy me. You know what I mean?
See, that's the mental games, especially when you're trying to get across your man's talking to tell you how amazing
it's like pricks you sit down to have a pint with and they tell you like all about that gaff. And I don't give a bollocks about your gaff.
Do you think Zlatan will end up like Steven Seagal and eventually just disappear out to Russia and being Putin's mate or something like that?
No, I reckon he'll end up a bit more like Cantona.
Right.
Where he just won't give a fuck. Won't do that for anyone. Yeah.
Philosophical,
but not actually doing anything philosophical. You know what I mean? He's
sitting
sitting watching horse racing all day, but he's pretending he's out looking at fucking the sea or something.
I'll just finish on this. Have you heard of football triathlon?
Sorry, say it again. I was coughing.
Football triathlon.
No.
So it's a 3-game version. It's a 3-sport version of football.
Right.
So the first part is 5-a-side.
Yeah.
Right. 2 by 10 minutes. Right.
Yeah.
The second part then is the team plays table football.
Right.
So like a football
as
table.
Humans.
Yeah.
Are the humans part of the football?
No. Because your 5-a-side team, it's obviously 6 players, but it's 2-2 versus 2-2-2-2, right? And then the last one,
it's actual table football. You're controlling the little players on the pitch, or are you?
Yeah.
The
it's table
on the
football.
pitch?
Right? No, it's table football. You're doing it, and then the last
normal
one,
foosball, like.
Yeah, and then the last bit is FIFA.
Right, so you just allowed to down play FIFA.
Then but it's a genuine sport, and it's being played. Finland have it as an actual sport, and people can play it, and you can watch some videos online.
Can you be in the Olympics next?
If it's not in the Olympics, it's going to be in the War Games, because I think that's a great one to go in the War Games.
Right, we have to go. Tomorrow, me, Kev, and Chris will take a deeper look into the Euros, what's happened so far, because I think the first round of group games finished tonight. Yes, so the second series of group games starts tomorrow, and we'll be on at 10 p.m. to talk about them. We're going to try to do some transfer stuff during the week, but there's nothing happening. So, as
you're going to talk about your man Rolo.
Who?
Rolo.
Who's Rolo?
Yorkie Rolo, the fella that we're trying to sign, the centre back.
Oh, Yarrow.
Whatever.
Yeah, no, I don't know if there's much in that, but there's nothing really going on. So we're just trying to have a bit of crack.
And we signed Alvin, Simon, and Theodore off Wolves today. Did you see that?
Did we? Oh, we're going after some young fella off Wolves as well. Yeah.
16.
Other than that, no. So listen, I know you want football. The football will be back in about 10 days when they're back in training, and we've something to chew on with regards to Liverpool and maybe some transfers. But for the moment, we're trying to have a bit of crack. And I think we've achieved that tonight, because some of that stuff was fucking great. Jadon Shaqiri in the boat is just fucking amazing. Right.
You'll never lose that mind picture.
No, never ever again. Great question, by the way. And the chipper one was good too. Right, we're going to go. Thanks to Phil. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for being members. Thanks for supporting us. And we'll see you all again soon. What do we say, Phil?
Hit the button there, Gav, will you? Come on.
Talk to you.
Come on.